Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. Well, we all know about the massive deal that happened this week between Netflix and Warner Brothers. Netflix put out an $82 billion bid to take over Warner Brothers Discovery, and that is a massive problem for the American people. And viewers are going to be more limited in their choices. They're going to be subject to Netflix's woke poison that they inject into virtually every series that they make. And it's a very frustrating thing, but there are some lawmakers who are concerned about it and are looking to potentially take action against it. So one of the things that's happening here is CNN got some pretty tough news in the entire shakeup, and we're going to break that down shortly. But before we do, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Well, Netflix struck the deal to buy the film studio Warner Brothers Discovery, and they aim to put an end to one of the most competitive bidding wars in media history. The streaming giant said on Friday that it will pay $27.75 per share for the divisions, making it a whopping $82.7 billion deal. And Netflix's bid was mostly cash. Warner Brothers Discovery will still spin off its TV networks, and that includes TNT and CNN into a separate company. So why is this bad news for CNN? Well, CNN, as we know, its ratings have been tanking for years. It has been mostly fake news and questionable debate about political issues, slanted coverage. The American people are not really watching it. And I know this personally, and I worked at its chief competitor, Fox News, and every night it seemed like CNN could not compete with Fox News and a lot of other media companies, I might add. So CNN obviously has been propped up for a long time, and its profit margins has not been of great concern to them because, well, essentially they were out there spewing fake news and really not worrying about the consequences. So that is a problem for CNN coming up, and so it explains a little bit of the shakeup that has been going on at the network. They apparently are being pressured to deal straighter with the American people, but there's not much of a sign that they are doing that yet. I mean, we just had the Jake Tapper controversy where he described the pipe bomber as a 30-year-old white man, when that is not true. Brian Cole Jr. is a black man. We could go on and on, but you get the idea. So CNN is in trouble and is going to have to reform itself in this deal. So that's one potential silver lining in all of this. But otherwise, it's a disaster for American viewers because Netflix, as we know, they have some radical leftists on its board. Not that Warner Brothers was a perfect studio. They donated most of their campaign contributions to the Democratic Party, but you can say that Warner Brothers was much more interested in storylines. They had a string of blockbusters that were not woke or political. They were just entertaining. And so when Netflix outbid its competitor Paramount Skydance, it really is a setback for American entertainment because Paramount and Skydance, they were also heavily story-driven. They were also, with Warner Brothers, reviving the cinematic experience for American movie watchers. And we saw the steady progression of good stories slowly working back into the movie cinema scene. And, of course, it took years after the COVID pandemic shut down a lot of studios and also the writers' strike. So cinema was already reeling before this big announcement. So Netflix taking over Warner Brothers, it's not clear. They're going to potentially bundle Netflix with HBO Max. This is not going to be a good thing for us looking for competition out there. But if they lower their prices, maybe it could consolidate the streaming market. A lot of people cut the cord, so they are just basically looking at streaming services at this point and instead of basic cable like it used to be. So back and forth, there's a little bit of a gray area. It's not all bleak, But in general, it is setting up a monopoly situation, and even some senators have been concerned about that. Elizabeth Warren, namely, has spoken out about it, seeing this is going to be an anti monopoly nightmare. So, what do you think about this merger? I pretty much broke it down and with my opinion interwoven into it. There's obviously some room for debate about this, but in general, I think more competition is better when it comes to entertainment. And Netflix, obviously, we know the Obamas are on the board there. They have been obviously politicizing Netflix's streaming service. And American consumers, well, we don't want to watch that stuff. We're not really fooled by it. So when you see the Netflix, Warner Brothers branded movies coming out in the future, one thing to keep an eye on, and I would add, expect, is that they will bait and switch us. They will try to get us to go to the movies to watch entertainment, and then they will just insert their politics into the storylines awkwardly, unnecessarily, and in a distracting and off-putting way. That's what I expect, but we'll have to wait and see. And also, if this deal runs into any headwinds, because Paramount is complaining about it, senators are looking at it for anti-monopoly reasons, but you know, the tech space, for example, has had monopolies for years and years and years, and Congress has not done anything about it. Because money talks, and they're big-time campaign contributors. Their lobbyists are quite effective. So monopolies, well, that seems to be the trend in the media space until one of them finally gets broken up. You know, we're all holding our breath because they are major players in the political space, and they really distort our elections and help our elected politicians override the will of the people in a lot of cases. So weigh in with your own thoughts. We always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.